You ask questions, and I answer them. Boom, watch fam.
What is up, watch fam? Welcome to episode 78 of Ask TNH. Quick wristwatch check. The watch is by Nick, the Orion. We're going to actually talk about this watch today. If you are not caught up to date, subscribe to our YouTube channel and then catch up on our videos. Caused a big stir on a big Michael Kors video last week, and it was, a whole big mess, but we really had a lot of fun, and I think that I got my point across, and I still think that it was right. So that's it. Let's get into the questions. But before we do, please subscribe to us on YouTube and Snapchat and Instagram. Actually, follow us on Instagram. It'd be really important to us right now. So please, Anna, put at Theo Harris for Instagram. Thank you, guys. Okay, so today's question was actually asked by Nick Harris, who is the owner and, head honcho at Watches by Nick. Nick shot me an email. I've done a video on him before. I did it in the winter. It was about a different watch, before the Orion, which is this model, came out. So he reached out, and he was happy with what we did last time. So he wanted me to do another review. I'll be very clear right now, before we get any further in this video. We're not being paid for this. Nick didn't give us anything for free. My opinions here are just my opinions. That's it. Just like, every other time I do a video. It may sound like being paid, because I have a lot of positive things to say about Watches by Nick, but we're not. For me, 38 is a terrific size for a sporty watch. I wear Datejust pretty frequently, and that's 36. So the 38 is a little bit more hefty on my wrist. It's a little bit more kind of just bulky and has a little bit more weight to it. This watch feels durable. I'm not, in vintage, I'm not used to, being able to feel like I could, start hacking away at a tree with a watch. With this, I am. The movement would be fine. The watch just feels heavy. I think Nick's done a great job, basically head to toe. It's a matte dial. Matte black dials, to me, are very photogenic. They are they're great to wear. Beyond just the matte, there are a couple lines of text. You have, 100 meters equals 330 feet in red, which I don't know if he's like paying homage to a sub, but to me it just reminds me of a classic Rolex Red Submariner or something like that. I just think it's a really nice touch. I think that steel, black, and red do work well. It has a bit of a balance and just a complementary nature to it, and it's definitely very sporty. The choice he made here to use alpha hands, I don't necessarily understand. I like alpha hands. I do. I don't necessarily think that they are as sporty as the watch is, but I guess the watch isn't as sporty as it might be perceived to be because of the case engraving. He's writing a very interesting line here, because the size and the shape of the case is definitely that of a sports, beater. But the engraving, and although that is beautiful, definitely rides more so on the elegant side. And I feel like you could dress down the elegance by putting it on a NATO and kind of rocking it almost like, I don't know, kind of like a trench watch thing. But the hands, to me, were an interesting choice. I don't necessarily think I would have done anything different, or I would have went with this. I'm not sure. But I think it is interesting they went with alpha hands. That's definitely more up to you guys and your personal opinion, how you feel about it. I love the crosshair dial. I just love crosshair dials. I think Zach Weiss said it in Worn and Wound. It's very reminiscent of a Seamaster, a vintage, crosshair Seamaster. It's balanced. I think that it's not really objectionable. I think we have a really solid design here in that respect. But on top of that dial is the domed glass, right? It's anti-reflective, but it does reflect my face. Nick, please clarify what anti-reflective means. But it's very interesting, because I don't know if you can catch it, but see how it goes to blue? That, to me, is a really interesting detail. I really don't come across watches that utilize the crystal in so much detail. I'm going to take the same stance today as I took last time I talked about Watches by Nick, because last time I also had an engraved watch. Watches by Nick, the Orion and the other watches, whatever, most of everything he does, especially that's engraved, to me is an important reminder. It's an important reminder, like the Glasshood original Senator 60s and those funky colors and the dials. That reminded me how much power a dial could have. This watch reminds everyone of how much power and how much value, how much detail can be packed into a case, right? And now the watch that is usually attributed is the Royal Oak, and that's just not affordable. This is attainable. I think that his retail for this is $2,000. I think it's on sale for $1,375. But the point is, that's a great price point to remind people how valuable a case is. I think that when you're a new collector, you need to realize, and you inevitably do as an older collector, that there is tremendous value and importance on every element in a watch. right? Whether it's dial, even crystal here, case, movement, crown, balance and design, everything is important. But at lower price points, you can only have so many things before the price starts to bump up. Powering this watch right now is the Seiko NH35, right? Uh, and it's a normal Seiko movement. I think it's a great movement. It's a trusty heart at the center of your watch. And I know that no matter how much of a beating you give it, not only will it be resistant, but if something did happen, it's an easy fix. Relatively cheap as well. When you mess something up, when you need a Royal Oak serviced, you're in for a couple grand. Of course, it's a total different level of watchmaking. I don't mean to imply that it's the same, but movements like this are very reliable and desirable. I think they're not flashy, but they are desirable, and there's a lot of importance that should be not missed when you're talking about movements and reliability. Is the design isolating? Absolutely. I don't think that this watch has mass market appeal, and that's because most people that I speculate that most people really don't want a watch that is hand engraved. I think that if they're going to put money in finishing, they're going to put it in a more aggressive kind of look, like a Royal Oak. I'm actually the kind of clientele that would go for something like this. I just think that it is a really charming, old school kind of rustic, elegant feel. This shows to me extra detail. I think that the Orion, with or without the engraved case, is an interesting watch. I think it's definitely worth looking into buying, if not buying. They're at a great price point. We'll get into that in a second. But the case engraving to me puts it way over the top. No one's doing it. Really, no one's doing it. As long as Nick stays the course and tries to get more people talking about it and more blogs talking about it, I think he'll do very well with that. As far as price point, he's asking $2,000. It's on sale down to $1,375. As I usually do, I'll talk business for a second. I wouldn't give that big of a discount. If I'm going to charge $2,000, I'm going to keep it relatively close to $2,000, unless it was a mistake to begin with to charge $2,000, which it may have been. Maybe something to the effect of $1,500, $1,600, and then yes, you can give your $1,375. I'm sure that price is still profitable and all that kind of stuff. So that to me would be a better business plan. When I see discounts that big, I get turned off. I know that it's a quality watch, but I feel like the price point and the discount would make me second guess myself. As far as the other Orion without the engraving, you're talking $500, $400 on sale. Incredible value. I mean, really incredible. I've done a couple reviews and I've seen a couple of other watches, whether it's Reverie or Undone and things like that. And I think that the Orion really does kick ass. It is my personal favorite out of the micro companies in that kind of segment that I've talked about. Is it a value prop? Yes, it is, especially at $1,375. I think that, look at Bell & Ross, for example. Bell & Ross is, and I like Bell & Ross in the secondhand market, but even they are, just based in design. That's it. Their movements are nothing really, more or less than what we have here. So it comes down to, are we into the design? And in that, I think that Bell & Ross has done something that is very interesting in that it's bold, right? And it's just a little bit more in your face on a fundamental level. But what's here is a little bit more detailed. Actually, it's a lot more detailed. And I appreciate that. I really do appreciate sub $1,500, someone is putting so much detail into a watch. That's an extremely valuable point that I don't think we can kind of understate. And even the ones that aren't engraved, because their price point is so low at $400, relatively speaking, so low, you still have value there. Is it a steal? I don't know. It's hard. I don't want to say no because it really is very close, but there definitely is a ton of value there. As far as the website is concerned, it's a good website. It's very aesthetically appealing. I think that Nick needs to put less text on the website. I think you should work on telling your narrative through video. Even your process there, how to mod a Seiko, I wouldn't word it like that. I would say, how we, or our process, or how we come to, build the Orion, or whatever it may be, and make a short video. Make a 1 or 2 minute video where it's sped up and slowed down and sped up and slowed down for steps and lists. Invest a little bit in that. I think that would be a great tool for for telling a narrative, for communicating why it is that I give a shit about you, to a customer that doesn't know anything about your brand. Don't just offer it on the website. Don't just give specs. Sell them a little bit further. Like I said, introducing that video, your process, even if it's a minute or a minute and a half, would be a really great investment. Apart from that, I really do like this watch. Like I said, it's not mine. I think the strap is great, and overall, Nick did a very respectable job, and the price point is fair. Actually, it's extremely fair, especially at $13.75. So that's it. I'm not saying go buy one. I'm not saying not go buy one. But those are my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching episode 78 of Ask TNH. I hope that you enjoyed, talking about watches by, well, listening to me talk about watches by Nick. He's doing a great thing, and I think that Watches by Nick is one of the few companies that exists right now in the micro market, in the very micro market, that actually have potential and staying power. A company that is putting out really, really good product by a seemingly very, very solid dude. I want to thank Nick for sending me this watch for the 2 weeks I had it. I really enjoyed it, buddy, and I hope you keep sending more stuff in the future. I think you've done a really great job. Overall, I really enjoyed the watch, and I'm gonna obviously have to send it back now, which kind of sucks. But that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching.